Yes, the connection at Merifield started when my father purchased the Seaside Gardens, which was, I guess you could call it in today's terms, a holiday resort, and that resort comprised of about 20 little fibro chalets. I'm a little bit hazy as to just exactly when my father did purchase Seaside Gardens, but I think it was in the mid-50s. My guess was either 55, 56. The Seaside Gardens resort was initially established by the O'Brien family, and they must have sold it to a fellow by the name of Jack Williams, because he was the party that sold the property to my father. I think the cabins were in reasonable condition, though they were painted a green colour, and like anything that's near the ocean, it required constant maintenance. And in fact, that's an area that I got involved with when we moved out there permanently. At that stage, I was serving an apprenticeship as a refrigeration mechanic, and I think not long after I completed my apprenticeship, I actually lived out there permanently for a couple of years, and basically ran the resort, and just trying to think back on that was in holiday time was a fairly difficult task. I recall we used to have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go and clean out the ablution blocks, showers, toilets, etc., and then do the rubbish run, which really consisted of, we had an old Bedford truck, and I used to drive that truck down the centre of the grassed area, and I literally used to have it in very low range first gear. There's no four-wheel drives in those days, but low range, and I used to put in gear and put the steering wheel in the right position, and literally jump out and run over and grab a bin and throw it on the back of the truck and give the steering wheel half a turn and keep going. I do recall one funny instance. I was doing that one day, and I picked up a bin, and there was about a 6-foot dugite curled underneath it, and I momentarily froze at the time, and just enough time for the old truck to go chunk, chunk, chunk straight into one of the cabins, and took away one side wall. So I spent the next couple of days repairing that, I think. But yeah, they're pretty tough times. After having done that, I used to then go and do what was called an ice run, because there was no refrigerators. In fact, there was no electricity at the Seaside Gardens. We had an old diesel. It was a Southern Cross one cylinder diesel, very low revving. Used to get chunk, 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 very, very slow revving, and that used to drive a generator which generated 240 volt power. So with there being no permanent electricity, there was basically no fridges. We used to just have ice chests, so that meant in holiday time I used to have to drive the old Bedford truck into Perth, into the old Perth Ice Works in Murray Street, and pick up about 2 tonne of ice and bring that back, and much the same as the rubbish bin run, drive the truck down the middle and break the ice into very large sort of ice blocks and put them into the ice chests. And I used to do that like three days a week, and I think twice a week I used to make a separate run into Perth to buy groceries, because we had a little general store, for want of a better term, just a little store that used to cater for the holiday makers there, and so I used to go into the old CJ Fowles, I think they were called, in North Perth, and which was a wholesaling food outlet, and used to purchase all the goodies for the shop and come back and stock the shop up. So usually most days come 10 o'clock at night or something, it was just about time to knock off. So they're pretty long and hard days. I guess at the time, basically, I wasn't rewarded all that well financially. I think my father used to give me free board, and I think £2 a week or something. So it was pretty tough going. But they were very enjoyable days too. The people that used to come out there on a regular basis, holidaying there, used to get a lot of repeat business, and people used to just love going out there. And more often than not, they were people who actually lived in Perth metro area, and it was quite a journey out to Mullew in those days. You're probably talking a good hour to get there. From Perth metro area, there wasn't any sealed roads leading out to Mullew at that stage. There was basically only a two-wheel dirt track that used to go from Wanneroo Road to Mullew to Seaside Gardens, and that track initially was established by fishermen, and so that's all there was. I do recall that at one stage there, for a couple of years, my mode of transport was a motorbike, and I used to ride that motorbike to football training. I was playing with Subiaco, and I certainly recall very vividly every time I'd ride that motorbike over that two-wheel track, if ever there was another vehicle on the track, which was mainly a car, you'd have to sort of get off, and 9 times out of 10 you'd fall off and off the side of the road and pick yourself up and take off again. So, and of course in the middle of winter, when I used to ride my motorbike to football training and other things, it wasn't a very pleasant journey riding down that two-wheel dirt track.
Pitch black.
Yeah, pitch black, dead right. But they were interesting times and good times, and as I said before, the people used to holiday there used to really enjoy it. They used to come back time and time again. Apart from the little general store that we had, we also had an open air picture theatre, which was quite unique and quite interesting. I used to actually run that, which was another little challenge, because I would sit up there with the generator and the projector and show the film, and then of course we'd have an interval, and I'd have to very quickly run down to the shop and serve the ice creams and chocolate and all the goodies at interval break, and then race back and get the movie going for the second half. So yeah, they're quite interesting days. We also, when we owned it, we also established a tennis court. It was a blacktop bitumen tennis court, but I do recall putting a lot of hard yakka into basically building that by hand. So yeah, a fair bit of work was done out there, and it was certainly a very unique little setup, really.